like playing around with things. I don't necessarily need to do the highest stuff. And if you end up doing that, that's wonderful. I don't want to spend a whole season pushing pits because they're boring, honestly. I'd rather play with you guys and have fun and have those moments where those wow moments, like when I got my 4GA Shaco. We actually got someone a 4GA Melted Heart as well, before I got my 4GA Shaco, and that was a wow moment as well. You know, and then just seeing the happiness of people because of it and such. That to me is more fun. But yeah, the uniques next season, if it's just a season of uniques, right? I don't even care if the new systems are any good. They just give us really good uniques across the board so we can play loads of builds. That will keep me busy for 8 weeks, no problem. And then we got the expansion, right? Happy days. and Caps, you're good. You're good for you. You're absolutely well. You're good. You're good. Yeah, I'm keen to see a more variety of builds, right? This season was the best season by far so far. And I don't think anyone would disagree with me on that. But one of the problems with the season, unless you're a bit like me, I guess, where I've just played different builds. I haven't played any of the meta builds apart from, I suppose, I did play a Thorns Barb, but I kind of played it before it went. And I did play a Forbes Sork, I suppose, but I wouldn't say they're like the top meta pit pushing builds. But this build here, Windshear, I suppose it is one of the top 3 builds, but they're not like the top meta builds. I like, but you go to the classes and there are just like, there's these 3 builds, these 3 builds, these 2 builds, these 3 builds, and that's kind of it. There's barely anyone playing any of the other builds because they're just not, most of them aren't good enough to even remotely do the end game content, or they're not interesting to do. I've seen a few people doing a few different ones the last week or two, I guess, just to make their life less boring for the end of the season. But I'm just hoping next season, like there's a Wolves Druid build that I really think will be quite good next season. So I'm going to try and theory craft a Wolves Druid build next season. Just a full-on, all the Wolves, like you can get like 7 or 8 of them with like 25 ranks in Wolf. And then I think there's a way of making it so they apply dot and make it area effect. So if that's the case, you just stack loads of dot damage, probably loads of, yeah, just to scale the hell out of that. You've got all your wolves. There's a way of making your wolves immortal. If any of you played D3, in your follower there was a relic you could put on them which made them invincible, and then you would split your damage with them, so you take 50% less damage. And it was pretty much the meta in the end game when you're pushing. There's a similar thing on Druids next season, which reduces the damage you take by is up to 17.5%, and it makes your wolves immortal. So that's just going to be good for you and them. You know, there's some other aspects coming that look really good for the Wolves as well.